Guys, we are back on YouTube. Might be a one-off thing. I'm hoping it's going to be more of a thing. I was hoping to be in a much different place to what I am right now. Life has lifed, and I feel like I need to offload it with you guys. Life does not ever go the way you plan, and that's one thing that everyone just needs to come to realise. You have a plan and your life will go a completely different way, and there's so much I need to unpack with you that there was no point doing it on my Instagram because it's too long. TikTok, I just feels like it can be quite a nasty place. I'm gonna do some more, but every time I do it, I get the worst anxiety. I put my TikTok on and then I have to delete the app and everything because I get really scared of it. So I feel like the people that really want to know what's going on will have come to this video to see what's going on. And if they don't want to see what's going on, that is absolutely fine. So we have to go back to the beginning of August. And I know that's a long time ago now. But it's where it kind of starts. I was obviously hoping to be in my new home by now. I had a lot of plans and aspirations and a lot of hopes and dreams when it came to my house. And unfortunately, I'm not there yet. The house is still there, but for a minute, I'm not moving in. And I don't know how long it's going to be until I'm moving in, and that's kind of how long is a piece of string, and that's something I'm really struggling with at the moment. So let's go back to the beginning of August, where my landlords, that I obviously lived in a house in Exeter. I loved it very, very, very much. It felt like my first place really and I'd never lived completely on my own before, so it was like my first place. I lived completely on my own. I was really worried that I was going to feel lonely, and I absolutely didn't. And I was only meant to be in that house for 6 months. So I actually, when I moved back down from Finch Hampstead, I was obviously in a very difficult situation where I had Bonnie, who was a puppy, no idea where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, and where after Love Island was going to take me. But I always knew, and I've always said I never wanted it to change who I was as a person before. I had my friends, I had my family, I had my job, I had my career already, and I'd worked really hard for that. So I kind of knew that I wanted to come back down to Devon. I never planned to move out of Devon, to be honest. And I know a lot of people like feel and think that there's not as many opportunities here. But I love it here, and I'd rather the lifestyle than I would anything else. So for me it works, and I don't really care what anyone else has to say about that. So when I moved back down to Devon, I had a month to find somewhere else to live with a baby Bonnie, and I was very lucky that obviously the job that I'd done before Love Island was an estate agent, as a lettings manager. I'd kind of done it all in regards to the estate agency world. I was very lucky, my best friend Katie still worked at the estate agent that we worked at, so I got hold of her, and I literally was like, there's one Regency Drive on the market. Can you get hold of Greg, the landlord, who I know very well, and ask him if he'd rent it to me, please. Tell him I'll take it tomorrow. I won't move in until whatever, a week, whenever I can get removals, but I'll move in as soon as, but I'll take it literally tomorrow. So that's what I done. I paid 6 months rent up front. I moved in, and it was fine. I always knew that that house was staying on the market for sale. It was always his plan to sell the house, and although that was difficult for me in some respects, so Faye Home massively stopped. There was a huge grind to a halt with it, which I hated, but at the same time the house was on the market the whole time. I had some absolute weirdos, one person in particular messaged me on Instagram off of like a bogus account and was like, Faye, you really shouldn't sleep with your windows open. And I sleep with my windows open, and that really scared me, and I was like, ah! So it frightened me that anyone could go on, find my exact address, literally look at the floor plan, see all my access points. I obviously lived on my own, so I had to make that decision for Faye Home to take a back seat, which I actually really struggled with, because that was always like my goal, as in regards to what I wanted to do career-wise. So that was that. Anyway, house stayed on the market. We had numerous viewings, didn't sell. It was on the market for way too much money. Beautiful house, but great for somebody like me, or like a younger couple, but very open plan. If you had like kids, there was nowhere, what I would call like a messy room, or like there was nowhere you could shut the kids off. That, not that you'd shut the, go to prison you go, but like there was nowhere to separate the children or have that space where you could have dinner, and it was all open plan, which was perfect for me, but I can imagine for a family, real difficult. It had a north facing garden, and the trees were just unbelievably big, and they all had TPOs on them, so you couldn't cut them down, and they massively imposed onto the property itself. So for me renting it was fine, but I always said, like, I loved that house, but I never would have bought it for those reasons. The trees for me were just a ridiculous issue. I never got any sun in the garden past like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and for me, I'm a sun bunny. I mean, it didn't matter this year because we had no sun, so all in all it worked quite well. So that happened. Anyway, I was then going to be investing into a business. This all started, let's say April, May time. There was going to be a business that was going to be coming out, which I was so excited about. And for that, I rang my landlord and said, Greg, do you mind if I change the wallpaper in the living room? Because it was a feature wall, but not my taste of feature wall. Do you mind if I change it to some paneling? He was like, yeah, that's fine. Left it like that. So obviously I did that, and then I went on and I did the photo shoot in my home. And then 3 weeks later, I get a knock at my front door, and it's my landlord, and that's not unusual. He used to turn up all the time, which was annoying, but he didn't mean any harm. I always said, like, he reminded me of my own dad. Like, it was like he would come over just to say hi. Like, he wasn't like he never wanted to come in, or he wasn't being an annoying landlord. You could just imagine he's a bit like your own dad, like just pops by and hello. So he, and I, all right, Greg, yeah. And he was great, and he was like, oh, you haven't responded to my letter. And I was like, what letter? And he said, oh, I gave you a letter, I need the house back, I've sold it. And I was like, okay, when do you need it back by? I haven't received a letter, which I absolutely categorically, hand on heart, I would swear on anything or anyone, never received a letter. And this was the beginning of August. Bearing in mind I'd spoken to him only 3 weeks before about doing the panelling, and if he had given me the letter, he would have either said, oh, I sent you a letter, Faye, you sure you want to do the panelling? Or he would have said, oh, Faye, have you received my letter before you do the panelling? That wasn't a conversation that happened when I rang about the panelling. Obviously, when you are renting, legally, you have to receive 2 months notice on your section 21. But it's fine. I always said that, you know, I always knew the house was for sale, and I wasn't going to be difficult. I know, for me, meh. I wasn't going to be difficult for once in my life. And so I said, okay, when do you want it back? He was like, end of August. It gave me a month. It gave me a month. So I then obviously went on and didn't know what to do at this point. I was like, what do I do now? Do I go and rent somewhere else? I've got a struggle that I've got to try and find something else. I need a double garage at least. and I need space for Bon, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I started looking at rentals. There's nothing around, absolutely nothing around. I was like, for God's sake, here we go. And then I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm gonna look at a property for sale. I'm gonna see if there's anything, if I want to buy something. Now's the time. It's gonna push me to buy something. If I want to buy something, I'm gonna buy it now. And honest to God, I put in where I would think I'd like to live next, and the first house that came up, I was like, oh, that one. That's the one. So I then rang my mortgage advisor, Robin, who's fucking brilliant, by the way, and I will tag him as soon as everything goes through. If anyone needs to, he was absolutely amazing. I always say use an independent mortgage broker. I never say to use one, especially one that's in-house in an estate agent's, especially if they're a corporate agent. Reason being is because they know how much you can spend, and if you wanted to put an offer in on another house, and your offer was lower than what you could get on a mortgage, they work hand in hand, and they can easily, this is speaking from experience of being in a corporate agency, they will talk to each other and they'll say, well, she can go up to £400,000 and she's only put in £370,000, but she can actually go up to £400,000. So there's always that risk. And also remember, everyone always has to remember that estate agents do not work for the buyers. As much as they might be nice to you, as much as they're going to be there to try and help you, if they can, ultimately you do not pay their bills, and ultimately you do not put food on their table. And they work on a percentage basis of whatever the sale price is. So you always need to bear in mind, the more money you pay as a buyer, the more money they earn in commission. So I used Robin for my mortgage. She's fucking brilliant. Also, another tip, when your estate agent asks for your mortgage in principle, when you put an offer in on a house, do not send it. Just get your mortgage advisor to send an email on headed paper confirming that you can afford that amount, that specific amount of money that you have put in as an offer. You don't need to send over how much you can actually borrow from any mortgage, for any mortgage. Do not send it over. That's the tip. Anyway, Robin was great, okay? Robin was fucking brilliant. And so I went and looked at the house, loved it, and was like, yeah, I'm gonna live here. This is my house. This is where me and Bonnie are gonna live. This is our life now, all good. And so we started packing the house up. I decided not to get, I don't know why I did that. I decided not to get a removal company because I knew my stuff was going into storage, and I'm really, really, really bad at organising things. So I couldn't in my mind get my dates. I just couldn't do it, okay? I couldn't do it, and that's point blank. I even put my Instagram, and I said, why is there not a job? And people do like packing your whole house up, but I didn't know what I would need up until the point that I left. So I just chose to do it myself. Worst decision of my life. I felt like I'd done it once before, so I would just do it again, it'd be fine. Bad decision, guys, bad decision. So that was that. And then I had storage, which was fine. My other best friend Beth, her boyfriend, bless his heart, has a storage company, so went in, rented a storage unit off him. All is good. We're packing the house up. My friends come over. Katie comes over again with Uncle Dan. We call him Uncle Dan because he's Bonnie's Uncle Dan. Obviously, I don't call him Uncle Dan because that would be creepy. But I do call him Uncle Dan. Okay, might sound weird. And then he brought a van over. Then I had Millie, one of my other best friends, and her boyfriend Hamish come with a horse box. As you can imagine, it was carnage, and we're throwing stuff in and we're getting it down to the storage unit. We do 1 week one day, one day another next week. It's getting to like midnight. It's a weekday. They've got work the next day. It is an absolute nightmare. Legit, I really fucked it, okay guys? I really, really screwed it up. And with that, I realised that I filled the storage unit. The storage unit is full to the brim. I cannot get anything else in it. And I've still got half a house to get in, and it's 11 o'clock at night. So I then have to find another piece of storage, which I find, luckily. So that's that done. Clean the house through, leave the house in Exeter. And I'm like, it's fine. I'm literally moving in. I'm like 2 weeks off of exchange. So I'm going to move in with my parents for 2 weeks. I have a small suitcase and a medium-sized suitcase. But like one travel suitcase that I take to London with me. And then one medium suitcase. That is all I have. Bonnie has an overnight bag with her food in it and her tablets and some toys. And I'm chilling at my parents. I can cope with this for 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks. I love my parents dearly, like obviously, and I'm so grateful that I can live with them. And I'm so grateful that they've had me back. Like my room is untouched since I was 17. We live in a 3-bed semi. Like I've always been well proud of how I've been brought up. Like my mum and dad worked really hard. And unfortunately, I'm smiling because I've got to laugh because I've cried so much about it and I've been so frustrated. But actually it puts everything into the grand scheme of life. It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. That 1 in 3 sales fall through. So 1 in 3 sales in the UK fall through. Like it is what it is. Different reasons, whatever. So I always knew there was a possibility it could fall through. But it hasn't fallen through. The lovely lady that I was buying it from, and I can't, she passed away. That's really sad. And it doesn't matter how frustrated I am, there's nothing I can do. I don't know how long this is going to take. Do I try and buy something? But this is, and I really want to honour the sale. Like I really want to honour the sale. She agreed it. I want to buy that house from them. I want to do that. And I love the house. So it now has to go through probate, which can take months. So we're hoping it will take about 4 months. And that was on the 5th of September. It just has taken me a lot longer to like readjust, and like it's taken me a lot longer to come to terms with it, to tell you guys. And also how I wanted to come to terms, because I'm not being funny, the amount of people, like when I spoke to the estate agent, she told me, I said, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I hope that the family are okay. I hope that they're grieving. Like, that's all that matters in this instance, that, you know, they're okay and they're getting through this. They've just lost a loved one. But what my situation doesn't matter, and it can be so easy to be, you know, really and I am disheartened about it, obviously, and but it doesn't matter how I feel. But also it's okay as a buyer to feel those emotions when, you know, you want to buy that house and you've got these dreams and you love that house so much and you just want to get in. But now I'm a bit in limbo. I've still only got a suitcase and all my stuff is still in storage. I can't get it out. So her passing has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but mentally it's been really hard to go back to, I haven't really lived at home since I was like 17. So go back to living at home, you feel like as though you've taken a massive step back. And sometimes you do have to take a step back in order to move forward. You have to do that in life. But my gosh, it takes a lot of adjusting. And that's okay to admit. Or, you know, just having that freedom, it can be so difficult. And also doing my content, organically my content isn't coming to me right now, and organically I'm struggling to even take a picture of, I don't like myself right now. I'm not the most confident version of myself. I don't like myself because I feel as though I'm restricted, and that's okay. It's only bricks and mortar. Oh my god, like don't having a house doesn't define you, but when it's like one of your greatest passions and you're restricted, honestly, I'm back in my little box room, like, and my family are healthy and they're happy. Well, I mean, I don't think they're that happy at the moment because I live there, but like, they're healthy, and you know, that's all that matters. And I've got Bonnie, and she is so happy because she's at Nanny and Grandad's, and she's got Nora 24/7, and you know, she gets to go out with Nanny and Grandad, and Nanny and Grandad, they eat meat, and that means that she gets tidbits, and she loves having her tea with Grandad, and she gets her morning biscuits. Like, she is so happy and content. So nothing else in this world matters. But also, I think it's really important, if you're on that ladder and you're wanting to make those next steps, it's also okay to feel upset and frustrated, because they're human emotions. Yeah, I want this to be really positive and be like, oh my god, I'm so happy, and I am, like, but I also don't like myself right now because I'm not where I want to be, which is okay. No one really is. But you know, I'm 29, I'm living back in my box room. And for me, I had just become so comfortable with being on my own and loving my own company and loving the person I was becoming. And having the confidence again to be okay with what I wanted to do. And I think what I'm trying to say is, buying a house isn't the end all. Like, isn't the be all and end all. It's not. Like, owning a house doesn't mean anything. For a lot of people, it's a massive step, and it's a moment to feel so proud of, and an achievement. And it's something, but that is what society says it is. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to make the vlog and talk to you guys, because obviously it's just been a lot. The whole business thing I was talking about earlier as well, that's now not going anywhere. I really nearly got sunk there, guys. Left, right, and sinker, quite literally. Yeah, that was going to be a disaster. And I'm very aware that there is someone out there using images of Bonnie and stuff, so do know that I know you guys have sent me some bits, and I'm aware. But yeah, unfortunately, I was going to end up into a loan agreement for money I've never loaned, for £50,000. And I nearly fell for it. I was so in awe of everything that was going on around me. I nearly fell for it. People aren't what they try and make out they are. And that's also okay. But I'm not now doing that, which took a massive chunk of my time up at the beginning of the year. But the positive is I didn't sign anything, so I could have been in a lot deeper than I am now. So every cloud has a silver lining. It's crap, but at least I saw the light when I saw the light, instead of seeing the light too late. But yes, it's important to talk about. You know how much I love property, how much I miss it. I don't miss being in the drama though. I don't want to be the drama. So yeah, we are still hopefully buying the house that we want to buy. It is how long is a piece of string. I'm sorry you guys aren't getting as much content as I even wish I was doing. I don't even own any clothes. I don't even own any of my winter clothes. I don't even know. This is my friend's jumper. This is Tia's jumper. And that's okay. Like, it's all just art. Like, it's all just stuff at the end of the day. And even doing this vlog, like, now I'm talking about it out loud, it's like clarity that actually is alright. It's also okay not to like I don't like who I am because I feel like I'm holding myself back. I think that's the best way to describe it. I am the only person that's in my way of moving forwards, and I don't like that about myself. I think that's the best way I can describe it. But it's okay, everything will work out in the end. It always does, it has to. I say it has to, and I'm just very lucky and grateful that I get to spend this time with my parents. You know, they're getting older, and I need to think of the positives. At times it's hard, and I could go and rent something, but My stuff is all in storage, and by the time I get it out, literally get it probably how I want it to be, hopefully be at a point where I'm moving. So I'm just taking this moment, realigning my ducks. I'm sorry I haven't really taken you on the journey with me. Remember that 1 in 3 sales do fall. Oh my god! And then, guys, I haven't told you the best bit about the whole karma-ish situation. And karma is karma. I don't know what I've done really, because I really try and be a good person, but I keep saying this whole situation with my house, that actually isn't karma. I don't think somebody passing away has anything to do with karma. And, you know, my thoughts are just with her family. However, the sale on the house that I did live in Exeter did fall through, and that makes me very happy because that house is now empty. He's had to put it back on the market for sale, and it's back up to rent, and so he's going to have a couple of months now where he has no rent and he's having to pay the council tax on it, and that makes me, I hope that doesn't make me evil, but it does make me happy because he really screwed me over. So I really just, I think that is karma. And if anyone wants to rent that house, I would say do, because it's a lovely house. But don't, because your landlord will be coming to see you all the time. Remember that horse box? It was my landlord, just left it on my driveway. So yeah, his house fell through, and then the worst bit is when I was moving out, the new buyers kept turning, they could put their plants in my back garden. I was very upset about that. I'd paid my rent and they kept turning up all the time. I'd say, for God's sake, Patricia, go away. It's still my home until I move out. So yeah, some lessons to take away from this. 1 in 3 sales fall through. Mine hasn't fallen through yet, so touch wood, it's all going to be going through okay. Oh, there's only 1 magpie. Can I just get a second magpie, please? 1 in 3 sales fall through. Mortgage. Don't use an in-house mortgage broker, and when you put your offer forward, never send your mortgage in principle letter. Just get your mortgage advisor to confirm that you can afford the amount that you have put forward as an offer. And 3, you don't need all this stuff around you to be happy. I am still happy, but you are also, it's also okay to feel sad about things and situations when they don't work out how you want them to. Maybe it's just trying to realign me. So that's what we take from this. I really need another magpie though. So yeah, thanks for watching. Oh my god, there's another magpie. It's fine. I'm sorry, 2 for joy. Thank you guys. Yeah, we will. I want to do this more. Fine. It's so totally fine. Right, love you guys. I will see you soon.